Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you guys to SPARQ Diagnostics. This sexy little device is as capable and as powerful as a commercial grade car scanner, tracking more than 50,000 vehicle codes and the usability of your favorite app. Some of us here might even talk to their cars, but we have never been able to speak with the car. Until now.
Hey SPARQ! Are my car's services in good standing? Is there anything coming up soon?
Your Jaguar F-Pace is on track. The last service was completed by Jaguar Riverside at 15,100 miles on October 18th this fall.
It's no longer, hey Daniel, I have a P0700 code. No, that's to the past.
Which indicates a faulty fuel pressure regulator, creating irregularity with your air-fuel mixture ratio.
And as the official partner for the LA Auto Show this year, we're giving away SPARQ Diagnostics to all of the attendees who come to our booth, try it out, and take it for a spin.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Total Podcast with me, your host, Phil Scott. So, on today's episode of the Total Podcast, I have two very special guests with some amazing software that they've created. So, I don't want to give too much away, so I'm going to let them tell us about it. Gentlemen, go ahead, get us started. Tell us your names and tell us what it's about. And I have some questions for you along the way too. So go ahead and introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Scott, and
You're welcome.
thank you, Phil, for introducing us and having us during this episode. For the audience out there, my name is Daniel Nieh, and I'm the co-founder of SPARQ. And I'll pass it over to our second co-founder.
Hello everybody, I am Codrin Cobzaru and I'm the co-founder of SPARQ. I oversee all technical initiatives, so I'm looking forward to share some of the insights along the way while building SPARQ.
All right. Okay, so before we get into SPARQ, if you both would tell me a little bit about your backgrounds, where you grew up, where you went to school, and then how your paths crossed.
Codrin, you want to take lead on this one?
Sure thing. So I'm originally from Romania. I grew up there until I was 16, and then that is when I went to high school in Vermont at a boarding school called St. Johnsbury Academy, and that's where I met Daniel, funny enough, in an entrepreneurship class.
Wow.
And then we ended up finding ourselves in a robotics class and then engineering design class. And long story short, we got along. And so one thing led to another. We managed to cross paths after college, and SPARQ happens to be one of the companies that we have co-founded.
Okay, now how did SPARQ get off the ground? Okay, so how did you guys conceptualize how to create SPARQ? And then what was the building process like for creating the software, especially because AI has just exploded the last 5 years. So tell me how that process began and how it grew.
I mean, SPARQ was founded 3 years ago by both me and Codrin, and the idea really originated with a very sentimental story, and Codrin is going to get into it a little later. But long story short is the reason why we started SPARQ is we want to bring, no pun intended, spark inside the industry back again, right? And a lot of times we feel like the everyday driver, like ourselves and you included, we are just not represented enough, and a lot of us are basically at the mercy of mechanics to understand and hear what they have to say regarding our vehicles. And we realize that with the entire marketplace on the consumer end and the car ownership end, we feel like this is an incredibly underserved market where people kind of have lost authority in control over the car ownership journey when it comes to after sales services, maintenance, repairs, and things of that nature. And that's kind of how the idea originated. Is we want to represent the everyday driver, people like us, and in a way that basically bridges the knowledge gap and complexity of the entire automotive industry.
Now, that's really key because how many of us, probably all of us at some point, have been ripped off by car mechanics telling us that
Mm-hmm.
we need things done to our cars that we don't need.
Correct.
And this SPARQ, this kind of helps a lot with eliminating a whole lot of that nonsense, doesn't it?
So
It
we
does.
don't we don't believe that all mechanics act in bad faith. However, we do believe that by empowering the everyday driver and helping them understand what is going on with their car in a language that they can understand, and they can follow up with questions, they can engage in a conversation just the way we are right now, and they can go as thorough or as narrow as they decide. And so when you go in a manner that you're educated, then you are more likely to feel good about the decisions that you make when you do have to go and get your car serviced.
Right. Now, like any mechanic per se, say you go to like a Honda dealer or any kind of dealership, a lot of and most of the mechanics, they have scan tools that they'll use. They'll connect to the OBD port in the car, and it'll give them a kind of a diagnostic of what's happening with the car.
Mm-hmm.
But the average person doesn't have one of those. But you guys have
Correct.
gone one step further. It's not just a scan tool that you just plug in. It
Correct.
talks to you. It communicates with you. It gives you real-time information about your car.
Correct. And Phil, to be honest with you, OBD2 scanners, they're nothing new, right?
Right.
There is a lot of them consumer and on commercial end. There's a lot of them on the market. Essentially, what we did is we make it humanized, right? Just like the way that you can communicate with your car, we are making it in a way that everyday people like us can understand exactly what each and every diagnostic trouble code means. A lot of times we found ourselves in the position previously where we have these OBD2 scanners that are consumer facing, but then we did a diagnostics on the car. First off, it's not as comprehensive as the one that dealerships and mechanic shops have access to. So there's basically a gap in between comprehensiveness from what we can get as a consumer to what you can get at the dealership. And in addition to that, even under the circumstance that we do get an error code from the car or that reads the check engine light, it comes off as a very technical term where it's a P0400 code. The average people, they're not, unless they have a specialized degree in mechanical in mechanical work on vehicles, they're not going to understand what that means.
That's right.
And you'll find, and oftentimes we find ourselves and being in the position where we need to look up on Google what that code means, just to later find out that the same code is interpreted differently on different brands, on different car automakers. Then we're ending up in a situation where we're spending endless nights on forums just to understand and just to diagnose the issue, right? And that doesn't, a lot of time and money as well as opportunity costs have been wasted throughout the process. So we thought, why not just let your car tell you what's wrong with it, right? So that's kind of how we differentiate ourselves on the market with, especially what we're doing is we're utilizing a very mature platform, the OBD2 platform, and taking it to the next level.
And I think it's really clever and smart the way you guys have it set up. Because when I saw your setup there at the LA Auto Show last week, it connects to your cell phone.
Correct.
So I think that's really wise and clever the way you guys did that. So the average consumer, other than having the little thing that you plug into the car, you don't need anything else. You just need a smartphone, a pretty good smartphone to help you with the process of getting everything set up and having to communicate with your vehicle.
Correct.
So what inspired you? What led you down the path of saying, hey, you know what? why don't we just connect this to a customer smartphone and then have them in real time be able to communicate with their cars, because that had to take a lot of thought on your guys' part to come up with that. So what led you down that path to do that?
Absolutely. Well, Phil, thank you for acknowledging that, because the way, throughout our decision process on the things that we build together as a startup, a lot of times it boils down to the primary point, right? How we are user centric. How can we make this user friendly without without adding on top of adding any layer of complexity on top of what the users currently have. That's why we decided to go with the route with cell phones, right? Everybody, most of the people nowadays, they have access to a smartphone,
Right.
where it's capable and compatible with our device. At the same time, with the OBD2 technology, it's compatible with cars, right? Cars after 1996 have that technology as required implemented in the car. And so our path, when we design the product, when we design the interface, when we design the entire software, it's based around our users. We're not looking to add more new technology based on today's world, where there's already a lot happening, right? New technology, they're coming out every single hour. We don't want to add more complexity to it. We want to find a solution that basically is a plug and play situation, where you have this hardware, you can plug it into cars 1996 and newer, or you have your smartphone, you just connect to it, right? You don't need to have another dongle. We don't want to make this a gimmick, or we don't want to make this into another separate IoT device that you need to carry around with a big tablet in order for it to operate.
Now, I think that's key that you said in 1996 and newer, because I think 95 and older, they're running that OBD1 platform.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
really out of date. So you need a 96 or newer vehicle for it to work.
Correct. And to clarify on that point, our current app and the current technology is built to optimize cars 2014 and newer, but it is part of our roadmap in the next several months to extend support down to 1996. And I'll let Codrin touch a little more on this part as well.
Okay.
Yeah. To build on top of what Daniel mentioned, it's important to us to have a premium experience for all folks that engage with our app. And so we don't want to make promises we can't keep. Hence why we have tested 2014 and newer. We are going to very soon expand it to cars that are 2010 and newer, and then very soon go beyond that as well. We want to make sure that the quality assurance is set in place such that the end user can get the premium feel that we aim for. The other key factor in going with wireless functionality is the ability to just have it plugged in at all times. It's not going to affect your battery. There is no issue that comes with that. But most importantly, if you ever run into an issue, let's say you see an engine light on your screen, you're not going to run in your house like, oh, where's that dongle? Let me look for it. Let me connect that cable in. But rather, it's just there. You just pull out your phone. It's like, okay, let me see what's going on. And we're really thrilled to release the AI functionality when you can communicate like, hey, even if there is not, let's say, a sensory code that we might have not picked up, but maybe there's a mechanic issue. And we say, hey, I hear this rattling sound coming from my engine, or there's this black smoke coming from my exhaust. What is going on with my car? So then you can get more educated, and you can ask like, hey, is this critical to the functionality of my car, or can it wait 10 miles to take it for a visit to the mechanic? The average driver does not have that context, so it's really important, including myself. I'm not a mechanic by trade, and so I've had this experience happen to me, and so you feel powerless unless I have, and so being able to just check, see what's going on, have a conversation with the app, it's game changing, and we hope to put this in as many cars and in as many hands of drivers as possible, so they can get a feel and be empowered when they go to a mechanic shop.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And
Codrin and oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Oh no, I was just going to say, Codrin and Daniel, what has been kind of the marketing strategy for SPARQ, and what process has that been like for you guys? And then then please do fill me in on what you're going to say too, because I know it was
Absolutely.
important.
No problem, no problem, Phil. I wanted to, before we shift to that direction with our marketing strategy and our distribution channel, I want to just add a little bit on top of what on top of the question that you have, as well as what Codrin mentioned, is that a lot of times it boils down to accessibility, convenience, and confidence, right? End of the day, we understand that your everyday car driver is not going to carry a enlarged OBD2 scanner anywhere they go, but they do carry their phones everywhere they go. And at moments where you need to diagnose your car or there's real-time issues, when people don't have the device with them, they feel anxious, right? At the same time, when we have this small compact device of SPARQ Diagnostics with them in their phone with them, they know that they're being taken care of anywhere they go, at any given moment, because they have a small device that they kept plugged in all the time, and the phone that they bring every day with them. And it's about representing and standing up for our car owners, people who are users of SPARQ, whenever they need us, regardless of the urgency of the situation, and always being there, being at the top of mind. So that is a little bit of context when it comes to how much in depth we go into analyzing and thinking about the scenarios when designing not only the interface, but also the holistic experience for our users. Is really always being able to be around them when they need us in the most accessible way possible.
Now, one thing before we get to the marketing too that I wanted to ask about, I know some people are out there kind of eerie about privacy concerns and all that.
Correct.
So can you guys speak to that?
Absolutely. So, our commitment to privacy is non-negotiable. And we realize that a lot of times in the day of the world that we're in right now, especially with big tech, user data are not treated the way that they should be, and they're not taken with responsibility nor respect. The way we handle our user data is, first off, a lot of them is anonymized. So at any given moment, and Codrin is going to fill me in as well in regards to how we handle the data security process protocol that we have implemented. But we do not sell, we do not transfer, we do not provide, and we do not give any of our user data to third-party companies, including insurance. And that is baked into our implementation process of our security protocol. And I'll let Codrin touch a little bit about how we treat that data and how we utilize it to not only train our AI, but also prevent people from accessing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, Daniel nailed it. Now, one thing that it all stems from one simple truth, which is every user on our platform is a privilege. We're not taking it for granted, and it's our duty to make sure that we are taking a privacy first approach in all the decisions that we make. We don't take that lightly. And so with that being said, the way, as Daniel mentioned, the entire experience with the SPARQ app is focused on making sure your data is secure. And so the only details that we use, that SPARQ uses, it has nothing to do with the actual driver, but rather with the behavior of the car. And that is important because that is the information that we'll be using for the AI to train properly, such that we can spot patterns ahead of time for the next drivers in our network. So let's say the same vehicle, the same year, make, model, we observe the specific behavior that might have led to a specific breakdown. And so other folks that engage in similar behaviors will be notified, hey, if you continue given the current behavior, these are the issues that you might run into. And so this is our major efforts to change the landscape from how most folks go about taking care of their car, which is reactive. Something went down and now I need to fix it. Instead of, hey, how about I am a responsible car, an educated car owner that knows that, hey, I need to take care of my car at this specific milestones and make sure that everything is running smoothly. And when they do engage in some sort of behavior that is putting the car at risk, they will be notified, informed to how to remedy the situation. We believe that the current state of the art, just using the guidance in the owner manual, it's an average, but it's not personalized to your driving behavior. And the simple example would be if a soccer mom only drives a mile a day for short intervals, the battery is likely to die a lot sooner than it might die on the average car based on the guidance that is given in the owner manual.
Right.
So it to us is crucial to tailor the experience based on the car that you're driving. And so to tie it back to privacy, in order for us to make this happen, it's crucial to be able to get insights about the car. We do not care. We are not using any type of detail about the specific person. So we don't associate a specific car behavior to the who did that. We just see that a Toyota Corolla has this specific tendencies of breaking down at the specific milestones based on this driving behavior, but we don't know who is driving it, but rather just the outcomes that the inputs and outputs of the system. If that makes sense.
Yeah, even that in it of itself is a game changer too, because it gives you a lot of helpful data about a particular model of car and how it's driven and how other people can benefit from learning about the tendencies of a particular make and model of vehicle.
Correct.
So that is something that we're really excited about. And perhaps I'm talking a little bit prematurely, but we're so grateful you brought us over. So I'm excited to share some of the things that we have brewing in the mix. And it's also painting a bit of a context around the data. We are upfront. We have been in the driving seat, being anxious. We have been taken advantage. I firsthand have experienced being charged, or at least attempted to be charged for some parts and labor that I didn't need. So I know exactly what it feels like, how you feel a victim in those situations. And we don't want anyone to feel like that ever again. And that's why we built SPARQ.
That's awesome. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes left. So let's quickly talk about the marketing and the future hopes that you have for SPARQ growing, because this is an amazing product. I mean, I really love this. So tell us about the marketing, your strategies, and where you see SPARQ going from here.
Absolutely. And regarding how we distribute the device, our goal is that we want, before we go out to mass distribution, we want to make sure that a lot of our features and a lot of our testing, as well as the promises that we make, are bulletproof. Not only because we want to ensure accuracy on it, but because we understand the responsibility that we're taking in as a mean and as a medium of transferring this, transmitting this information to our users. Because at the end of the day, it's you as a person who is behind the wheel driving the car. We want to make sure that the information that we provide through SPARQ Diagnostics is accurate, because a lot of it concerns safety. And to answer your point, Phil, is we do direct to consumer distribution from our website. Consumers and our customers, they can purchase the device directly from our website, and we'll ship it out to them. We're currently focusing on in the North American market right now, but at the same time, because we had just done a recent announcement and the recent debut with SPARQ AI just about 5 days ago on last Thursday, and we are planning on the nationwide rollout in the next few months. But a lot before we get there, there's a lot of things that we want to ensure in terms of compatibility, reliability. Even though we are as confident as a founder on the promises as well as the capabilities that we bring through the device, we want to ensure that we are giving out the best experience that people can go through as much as possible. Our goal is we want to distribute, first off, the device to as many car owners as we can, not only across the nation, but also across the globe. But a lot of it is really pending work that we need to figure out and to make sure that all of our users are having the best experience possible.
That's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
are you giving those out to people who visit your setup at the LA Auto Show?
Correct. So because we are the official partner with the LA Auto Show this year, the device normally retails for $199, but because we're their partner this year, we're giving them away for free with absolutely no catch. There's no monthly subscription, no annual fee, or any additional cost that incurs for any of our users to access premium features. And we're doing that only for a limited time while we are here present at the LA Auto Show, because this is the SPARQ AI debut.
And what day does the LA Auto Show wrap up?
So it started from November 22nd as the first public day, all the way and concludes on December 2nd.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome that you're doing that for people who are going to the show. And that's what a better way to get that out there and to let people experience it, and to just let people say, hey, you know what? This is an awesome product. This is what it can
Yeah.
do. And
Mhm.
man, that's just amazing that you two are doing that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you from the public for just doing that.
Well, thank you, Phil. You know, our goal really is we want people to have accessibility to bridge that knowledge gap that's been in existence for decades already, and we believe that there is a better way and a newer way for consumers to go about this entire marketplace. And you know, to be honest, at the end of the day, we're just representing and serving a market that hasn't been taken, that's been underserved, to be honest, right? And the entire automotive servicing industry has been very fragmented. We just want to provide easy, accessible, and understandable language and technology for the everyday people.
And I think you guys are doing exactly that. So, Daniel, Codrin, man, I wish we had more time. This is amazing. Thank you
Absolutely.
both so very much for coming on the podcast and sharing your amazing product with me and my
It's our
listeners.
pleasure.
It's our
It's our
pleasure,
pleasure, Phil.
and thanks for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. And again, thank you and good luck at the auto show and good luck with SPARQ. And I'd love to have you guys on again to talk about it some more and to see where it's going, because this is a huge product and I think more people need to learn about it. And I think millions of people potentially can benefit from this. So thanks to both of you for coming on the show today. I really, truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. You know, we're very excited about the upcoming things that we're looking to release to the public, and there's more to come. As a startup, as founders, there's a lot more coming that I believe not only we're excited for it, but I believe the general public is going to be very excited about.
All right. Well, thank you both.
Yeah.
So
Well,
with that,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Phil.
You got it. Thank you.